Good morning, good evening, everyone. This is Luda Kopikina with GAI Insights. Welcome to Daily AI News Review, where we rate news essential, important, and optional, saving you time and pointing out trends that would help you in your daily work. The articles you can find that we're going to be reviewing today are at gaiinsights.com/articles. Today, I have the core crew, and that is John Circla and Adam Rappaport. We have about 6 articles, and please tell us what you think in the comments, and we'd like to hear your opinions, whether you agree or disagree with us. We'll start with the first article, and that is, let me just take a minute to put it up. The article is a DeepSeek R10528. That's a new version of DeepSeek, and it rivals OpenAI 03 and Gemini 2.5 Pro in performance. Or it says it challenges. It comes close, but doesn't quite do it. So what did you think about this, Adam?
I was on the fence between optional and important, and in some ways it's optional in that it's really just keeping up with the Joneses and matching. But I think there's actually something maybe a little more significant that would make it important for me in terms of not just understanding that DeepSeek continues to compete, but what was expected was actually an R2 model. And the fact that they've really done fine tuning of that same first model that came out quite a while ago and continue to demonstrate this kind of performance signifies that when R2 comes, it's going to be a significant performance jump again beyond even what Google and OpenAI are providing at this point. So it's going to R2 will probably rock the LLM world again. It's worth paying attention to what's going on with DeepSeek. They've upgraded the model to this kind of power, and it's the same pricing that it was with the recent one from the API. It's also totally open source, so if people don't want to pay them for the inferencing with the API, they can download it, run it on their own clouds. There's even Microsoft supporting DeepSeek through their Azure Foundry. So there's tons of opportunity here. It's worth paying attention to what's going on with them.
Yes. But optional, right, Adam?
I'd say it's important. It's worth elevating to the level of awareness. There's not much more than this headline here maybe to take note of, but it's probably worth getting it across their desks.
Okay. John, what are your...
Yeah, definitely important. Obviously, this is both a strategic competitor for the big model companies, as well, a national competitor and also a price competitor. The NVIDIA chips you can run this thing on, cost about, you can get them from Amazon for like $1,500. So, these models, this thing we're talking about intelligence, at the edge, intelligence distributed, this is a big step in that direction. I agree with Adam. It's not, unique in the market, but man, it's powerful. So I'd give it an important.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with important, because I think a lot of people are using it for deep research and because of its pricing and the like. So, okay, important it is. Let's proceed to the next one. The next one is Anthropic, and they're open sourcing circuit tracing tools. John, what did you think about this one?
I thought that that was optional, so important. This notion of the ability to trace within graphs and so forth, it's a hugely important topic. This is a relatively weak article, just gives you a little bit of a pointer. I didn't realize they have this notion of Anthropic fellows, so they have, research people who are working on the problem here. I guess I'm going to land on optional, not because it's not important, not because it's not interesting, but just because the article itself really doesn't give us a lot. You have to go, I guess, to the NeuroMedia interface and go ahead and do this, which I did not do. So I'd give it an optional.
Yeah, but it is such a powerful tool, and the fact that they are open sourcing it is really, really powerful.
That's an important area.
Yeah, it's a pretty critical area. Adam, what did you think?
It's deeply fascinating when you consider what they're doing with trying to understand how LLMs actually work by tracing the pathways of the attention, effectively, like tracing the attention. And it's going to be very, very important for us to continue to get more out of these models by understanding more how they're behaving, and tracking and tracing that, also in terms of ensuring that you're eliminating hallucinations or some sort of, making sure there's adherence. It's very important to understand where a logic path effectively is failing in a flow. It's very difficult to diagnose problems with prompt engineering without this kind of technology or tool. So but at the same time, it's very much on the research and forward-looking edge of things. So I'd probably leave it optional as well.
Okay, optional it is. I'm sorry, it was supposed
Actually,
to be.
can we go for important? I mean, is no, but I
Did
mean,
I talk you into it, John?
You did. It's a vital area. I mean,
It's a vital area, right?
I mean, one of our clients, Seeker, this is a lot of their differentiation, right? It's the ability to have explainability of the model.
Yeah, and open sourcing it. Remember what happened with MCP, like when Anthropic introduced it? We debated. It was just an introduction. We gave it an importance, but what it ended up being is essential type of thing, because it became a pseudo standard. I wonder whether the bent that Anthropic has on explainability, visibility, right? And they made a conscious decision to open source this very powerful tool. Right? I question whether this would same would happen here with what happened with MCP. It might, right? So I think I agree with important.
All righty, important it is.
Okay, important it is. So John, apologies for actually putting you on this article. I was supposed to review it. We need Ankaj. All right. So the next one is, let's see here. The next one is about MemOS. Comes from the Shanghai startup, Tensor, that talks about memory. John, do you want to introduce it, or I can?
No, I'm happy to. Yeah, interesting article here. I mean, we've got. They're basically positing that, as I understand it, it's an ongoing. Right now, we think about how memory and embeddings and so forth work. Right, we've got kind of three big hunks. We've got stuff like RAG, which is contextual. We've got the training, and it sits in the model itself, and then we have during inference, right? What the working memory is, and we've seen lots of. If you go back up, that one I thought was.
I thought you were discussing this.
Yeah, that one. Oh, fair enough. Yeah, and then. And those are distinctive in context, like whatever's going on in a particular time frame, and how they're doing it and so forth. Now this is talking about updating, the core to basically make that into an integrated memory system, so that each of those phases or modalities update an ongoing memory system, and they're inspired by neurology. And how the human brain works in terms of updating long-term memory, versus short-term memory, and as we know, neuroplasticity. So, I don't know, how much different this architecture will be in terms of performance, but I think we're seeing in lots of different areas this addition of context, time, and memory as a way to expand the intelligence of these models. And that's a very powerful trend. So I don't know. I was on the fence between optional and important. It's still very early days and so forth. So I'd be fine with either.
Okay, Adam, what did you think? Here's a let me just pull it up here. Here's the memory. See this whole architecture.
Yeah, it's
essentially took the guts out and put it in layers with some with the memory store below, right? So it's pretty comprehensive, but it didn't give us any performance. So they didn't tell us what they ran with this model and what the results were. Okay, Adam, sorry.
Oh no, you're okay. Yeah, I'm not sure, even sort of as an interesting thing to catch up and understand about on the weekend, that it's worth really bringing it to their attention at this point. It may pan out to be quite useful. It's certainly good to see, which should be no surprise to anyone, though, that they're continuing to, in some ways, deconstruct the way our own human brain works and trying to make more complex yet elegant systems that leverage that in large language models. So I was probably an optional.
Okay.
Overall.
Optional overall. Okay, let's put it as optional. Okay, let's go to the video, right? AI video. I'm doing all kinds of
Odyssey.
Odyssey. Yes. And that is John.
Sure, yeah. The AI video, I put this as totally optional. This is a conversation about something which is interesting. I mean, they're basically saying, look, real world models are really hard to generate in real time because they're so complicated. Hey, now there's a thought. No, but to be more fair, they do show some models that they are working on. They're still very hinky jinky. You know, they don't look anything like real world, and they spend a lot of time. I mean, you can see these. Here's some examples, right? So it's kind of like, it reminded me of the first time I played, Asteroids. It's a very low bandwidth experience, and they're drawing a lot from game environments for sure as they train this model, and of course, in order to deliver performance, they're limiting it to certain worlds, which you would do, right? In terms of so it doesn't really, have anything like real world capability. Important topic, way early, incredibly verbose article about the obvious, kind of cool experimental stuff, to show. So optional for sure, but fun.
Adam, what did you think? Optional.
Yeah, I guess I'd go optional. I thought the pace at which this is accelerating, frankly, this kind of capability. I went in and changed the channel. At the bottom, it's basically like the seed or the world that they're keeping you limited to a certain selection at this point, but you can change the channel and then walk around, and because of the fact that it is on rails like that, there's decent persistence in the world model. A lot of the older ones that came before this, there was the Oasis that we reviewed quite a few months ago, that was like real-time rendering, but it would morph and warp, and if you looked away and looked back, it wouldn't be what it was before. So they've done an interesting job of solving some unique challenges around this, and I was a bit in awe, frankly, to realize that this is actually like rendering, being generated real time as I'm walking around, and it was a bit hazy, like a dream. The frame rate isn't great, but for people to just on the weekend almost play a video game and just go have a little walk around in it and have a sense of what's already possible, might be worth at least bringing to their attention. That was why I was on the fence. Yeah. But otherwise, I'd agree with John that it's optional.
Yeah, I went through the same thinking here, Adam, and that is, look, they essentially challenging the video production, right? And making and asking the question, can you make it interactive, completely interactive, rendering it in real time? So as a result, they're building the world model, adjusting it as you go, and it's actually a tall order, I think. So for that, I think it will become a very important area, but it's very early. it's just the beginnings. So I gave it an optional as well. So let's mark it an optional for now and proceed to the next one. Let's see, what do we have next? we have Opera, right? Yeah, so Opera is a Dutch company that was acquired by a Chinese. They focus on browsers, secure browsers, and now they're about $500 million on a public company now in New York Stock Exchange, and they have put together the new browser that can code websites and games. And they are putting a couple of buttons on the browser that allow you to do and watch. So, and what are the buttons?
Do, chat, and make. Yeah.
Do, chat, and make. Chat, do, and make. Right. And so those buttons allow you to interact and do research on the side into what you want to buy, and buy them, and then make certain things as you go along. So, but this is just a product announcement, so I put it as optional. And I think other folks will do the same thing or are doing the same thing. So what did you think about this, Adam?
I think it's pretty slick and very consumer friendly the way they've integrated it and sort of I guess distilled it down to chat, do, and make in terms of an agent that can help you accomplish things is do, and chat is like your little, your chat GPT, and then make is where it can actually build for you. So it's simple to get your head around, but Opera, I did a check. It's roughly globally 2% of the browser market. It's a pretty small thing. And I mean, it's good for them that they're staying competitive and starting to add some cool features, but it's nothing we won't see through Chrome and Firefox and Explorer and everything else. So I was probably optional as well.
Okay, John, we're going optional. What's your take?
Totally optional.
Optional. Okay, and the last article for today is the Code Rabbit from OpenAI. This is a huge, big area of when you put together the builds for product releases. And this is Code Rabbit focused on that, creating an environment to do that. So it improves code review accuracy and works with these models, OpenAI o3, o4 mini, and GPT 4.1. What did you think about this, John?
Yeah, I thought this was, at least important. I mean, massive productivity that they're reporting here. OpenAI is, not the leader in models for software developers, but it's still very strong and certainly the leader, broadly. And so, if I remember right, it had things like 65% increase in, accuracy of the recommendations. The ability of this thing to really drive software, productivity, on a key platform, on the key platform right now, at least in the Western world. I don't know what the adoption of OpenAI is like in China, but I'm really on the fence between important and essential.
Yeah, I was at least important because coding is good, but a review and putting the stuff together for larger code bases for release without that you can't go faster. So I thought it's a hugely important area. Adam, what did you think?
I was on the verge between optional and important at first, and hearing John sort of characterizing it again, I am now probably between important and essential as well. They claim right on their homepage, cut code review time and bugs in half instantly, and part of it, which is really smart, even on their free plan, it will automatically help write more detailed notes for your pull requests for when you check stuff in to a code repository, which is a great use case, and just to simplify that in a workflow. And then on top of that, to be able to, for even their cheap plan, which wasn't very expensive, frankly. I mean, it's less than ChatGPT, to have it basically doing this code review on every pull request you send to a repository is a pretty high value proposition. So yeah. It's worth paying attention to, and the code review time. I mean, the bugs in half is the code review, but the code review time is in part because of, it says there, improve pull request merge rates, right? You have more accurate code reviews and accelerated merges. Like, it's just sort of another dimension to AI for coding productivity. So yeah, I'd definitely go at least important.
Yeah, I'm thinking essential, guys.
Mhm.
As you were talking, the flashes of bringing big compilers together into next version, putting it out there. So the builds,
Yeah.
I
Well,
got some air from those experiences. So I really think it's a huge productivity booster.
Yeah, and the last bullet here that's in the window, higher customer satisfaction. I think this notion of reduction in false positives is massive. I know I looked at research ages ago that was about customized news to people. This was back in the late 80s. And the false positives is a big turnoff for people for tools that are trying to condense things for them. So the reduction of false positives is a big deal. The other thing is that, we have this unbelievable flywheel going on now where AI is of course, the famous phrase, software is eating the world. The notion that increasing the productivity of software, which is increasing the productivity of other things, which is generating intelligence, which is affecting everything. So this is really getting at the calculus of commerce here. It's not the arithmetic, it's not the algebra, it's the increase in the speed of increase, which is an incredibly powerful thing, and most people don't have an intuition for, because very only people who are comfortable with mathematics really, I think, have any intuition for how exponentials work and how compounding works. And I'm not saying you can't explain it to them, but they don't have a feel for it. I mean, these are incredibly powerful forces when we have compounding of the intelligence that's affecting other things, along with an increasing digitization of reality. This is profound.
Yeah. Okay. Let's mark it as essential. John, do you have a scorecard?
I've got it for you there, Luda.
Okay. A little scorecard competition here. I've got it, but go ahead.
Well, while you were talking, I was just finishing it up.
I won't be hurt. Go ahead.
Okay, hold on. I need to stop sharing and add to stage. Here we go. All right. So we have today, and we have a silent group here. The viewers have not been telling us what they thought, but okay. So next time, we have one essential, the Code Rabbit from OpenAI, two important, and release of upgrade to DeepSeek R1, and the Anthropic's open sourcing circuit tracing tools as two importance. So thank you all for listening.
Well, wait. Let me give an announcement. Our Monday Learning Lab.
All right. Go ahead.
Yes. So on Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, United States, we have NetHopper, who's an AI vendor. They're going to be doing a case study of private AI, which uses open source for secure employee chatbot. And of course, this is much more cost effective than OpenAI or Microsoft Copilot if you want to use it in your organization. So be there or be square. Learning Lab, open to everybody, and have a great weekend.
Yes. Have a great weekend. Thank you, Vivek. We'll see you on Monday.
Bye-bye now.